enough of that garbage. Hello. Just thought I'd try it out. And, just I had a couple of people asking me about the rig, what I use live. And I thought I'd show you. Okay, let's start. First of all, this is the FM9. And I've always had this sort of system going when I've had the Axefx rigs. And you'll see what I've got is the input one. That's where I'm coming in. I've got no noise gate on it. I just think it screws with the touch. So it screws with the touch. So I leave all the noise gate out on everything. The compressor, I'm using a tube compressor. But see, I've got any one of those. I am using scenes. I never used to use scenes, but I'm using scenes now. I was just always using patches. But the CPU on the FM9 is lesser than the Axefx 3, which I hate. I want CPU. I don't care how much it costs me. The wah is an auto wah, so it is actually on this control here. And it's set at a fast position. What it does is, as soon as I put my pedal down, it will automatically turn on. So you can see it turn grey there, so it's on. So, okay, so on my drive, I've got two drives. The first one is the BBE, I think, is it right? Yes. And then if I hold it down, it changes to an octave distortion. Octave distortion. So then I've got the second drive is this guy here, which is the, well, it actually starts with a jam ray. That's with the jam ray on. And then if I hold it down, it's like the maximum. Right? All right, so then I've got two drive pedals and I can switch, as I can say, on here, on my pedal board. I can turn it on or turn it off, or I can hold it to switch to the octave distortion. Does that make sense? If I hold it down again, it goes back to the BBE. It's still not on yet. So I can select that by just holding. And it's still not on. When I hit it once, it's on. The same with the drive 2 is the jam ray. Or if I hold it again, it goes to the max off. You can see the max off down there. All right, so I've got two amps going. Now on this sound here, as you can see, I've got my preset, my scenes up here. I start at 4. I don't know what, something that I've always done. It's just the way that I've always had things set up. And that's that sound, and it cleans up quite nicely. It just cleans up nice. But if I want bite, all right, the first amp that I use, and I've always used, is the Deluxe Tweed. It's fantastic. It's just... Now, you've got to remember that all of this sounds completely different when you're playing live through a FR. It just sounds complete. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't sound right. So it sounds completely different. And as soon as you get to that Munson curve, it screws everything up. It's completely screwed. So that's the first amp that I use. The cab that I use is always the Supremo cab number 95 in the Legacy section, which is one of the stock standard ones that they have. However, what I do with it is this. See this? I change it from hall to room, and I use, listen to the difference. This is without it. And when I whack it in, about 30. It gives you that sort of room vibe. I I'll take it off again. Whack it in. 30. And I love that. I love that. It's really kind of... really put some space around it. It's like a room reverb, but it's not quite the same. And it's more ambient than anything. So it's reflections that are kind of a little bit wider apart, I guess. So that's the cab that I use for everything, except for occasional things I change over. Volume pedal is always online. That's all it does. Just a volume pedal. Then I send, which goes to a pitch block, which I can turn on up here. Etc. Then I've got my pan trem, which I love. Now again, like the other stuff, I can hold this button too, and it'll give me the harmonic trem. These are all dependent also on my tap. So the tap is really integral to that, because I can change it if I want to tap in dotted beats. So if my tempos say bum, and I want to get dum, 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 dum. Okay, so that's the trem. The next thing that's in the line is chorus, of course, which is a stereo digital. Simple. The next thing in the line is a flanger, which is flanger. Then I've got the rotary, which I don't have a button for at the moment. I rarely use it. And I'm about to sort that out. Again, give me more buttons. Give me more CPU. Axefx, I love you, but the next thing is a delay. However, I've assigned down here a little dial that gives me more level of it. So I can be playing away and go, give me more. Now, the other thing that's fantastic about this, now that's going to run in stereo, as you can hear. However, if I'm in a mono situation, I hold it again. There it is. So there it is in mono. Next one is a slap, I think. Is it right? Is it? No. What is it? It's an ambient stereo. Again, all controlled by the volume or the level of it by this guy here. So that's the delay. Then I've got a second delay, which is kind of cool, because if I hold this down, it turns on. Now, I might be playing away, and I might get to the end of the song and go, it to you again. That's how it's normally. But if I go... And it works better on another sound, which I'll show you in a minute. I won't confuse you with that too much right now. Then I've got the Plex delay, which is fantastic. I love the Plex delay. And Plex delay is... Again, controlled by this volume control. The trem. So that's the Plex delay. It does have different types. I'm not going to kind of get into that, but that's what it's for. Then I've got just a simple reverb, which is... However, what I've got is different types of reverbs. So I can run through them as channel 1, which is what I normally have it at, which is a medium hall. You'll be looking down here, guys. Then if I hold this button again, I go to letter B, and that gives me the tiled room. Next one is a bit, ambient, which is kind of like what the speaker cabs do it anyway, but it's a bit more pronounced. The third one is, if I remember rightly, a spring. And then I've got a filter, which all that does is boost by about, 2.5 dB. So I might be playing, and I go, give me a little more, give me less. And that's all that does. Filter is just kind of a boost if I just want to I want to have a little bit more power feeling. I remember doing a session for some Japanese people, and they said, can you make it more power feeling? I should have had that button. Would have been fine. I'm not reading your chat at the moment, guys. I am going to carry on with this. Okay, so that's the layout that I always use. Always runs in that order. There is 2 amps connected, and I'll show you how they work in a minute. And these are parallel. Yeah, so that's my basic sort of template, if you like. Now, if I go to scene 1, and this is where this works in. It works really well. Which I need to sort out because it used to be on a dial, so I'm still kind of working on things. This is new, remember. This is only a couple of weeks I've had this, so I'm still working on ideas. But and it's great for like when you're doing noises. So that's the dirty channel. Remember that on each one of these presets, I can have all of these effects on or off, and they're all controlled via the air steps and the FM9 floorboard. The second scene is just a straight clean sound. You know, funk, whatever you like. Bit of reverb, probably a bit too much, but you know, the way it is live, you don't hear all that. You don't hear it. The third sound is completely chorus. It's great for... That's a really cool sound. I've always had that sort of sound in my rig. And right at the edge of breaking up that too, so you can roll back the volume and make it a little cleaner. And I'm doing that, breaking it up from the compressor. See, the compressor's actually now at a little bit more level input into the amplifiers. The amps that I'm using for that are, of course, the Deluxe Tweed, cleaned up, and the 6G4 Super, which I've always used. And by themselves, they sound like this. If I turn that off and turn that one on, it sounds like this. Together. You can see I'm kind of hitting the guts of the CPU. Warning, warning! Come on, you can do it. The fourth sound is the one that I've been playing with, the chunky. And then my fifth sound is... Now, with some of these, if I hit the number 4 and I hit it again, it's just everything with drive on and delay and reverb. Hit it again, back to normal. Same with this number 5 sound. If I hit it once, and if I hit it again, so it's handy in that way that I can hit a solo sound pretty quick. Also, I've got that, so you can see the patches changing up here. That's 5 goes to 7, 4 goes to 8. Don't ask me why, it just does. But I do have 8 also over here. So then within my patches, if I go to my patches, then I've got different amplifiers. I've also got specials. So if you know about the Axefx, you know that you can hold down the master, get to the master by holding down 2 buttons. And then if I go to the specials, I've got this song. Then I've got an acoustic patch, which is for if I'm playing acoustic guitar. And then I've got I Want to Break Free. Which is kind of cool. I've also got Panama, which on this guitar doesn't work, but on a humbucker guitar will work fine. The next thing I've got is Money for Nothing. And I've also got what I consider a pedal steel sound. So that's, you know, everything's working. This one is Brick in the Wall. so long since I've done it. So there's some of the specials. If I go back to that, I've got some more specials where I go. Where are they? Oh, this is what I was using for the Jeff Beck thing. So. And then She's a Woman was there, which again on Les Paul. And then I've got the voice box. All right. So then I can go back to my sounds again, my patches. Now, along here, I've got patches in groups. So that's the main one that I use, which is mostly the deluxe tweed. But I also have a Friedman. And within that Friedman, I can go into the scenes. Go to the Bogner. Go back to my patches again and then go to a Plexi. The Plexi's kind of fun. Clean. Much louder. I'd rarely get to these, but the Chunky is my. So they're a little bit different. Hit me up for some questions. Let me read some of your questions because I haven't been paying any attention. The more powerful button. More power feeling. Too much tap dancing for me. I'm afraid of sticking to analog. Yeah. See, I want everything at my feet. I want more. I want even more stuff. I wish there was more buttons that I could have there. I want to go, now I feel like putting a tremolo. Now I feel like this. I want to get that and that and that on. Now I want to slow down the tremolo. Now I want to speed it up. Now I want to set it in time. Go back to the original tremolo. Now I want more delays and reverb. I don't want to bend down. I swear to you, I saw this gig once. Great guitar player. Fantastic. I won't mention his name. Great guitar player. But all night I was disturbed by him going down on the floor and doing that. Changing sounds. Like, no, man, you're in front of people. don't get on the floor and change things. Whereas my feet can do the work, right? So I want at all times to be able to edit on the fly. I have a couple of problems with the air step. The problem with the air step is that if I turn something on, let's say, for example, what's happening? Let's go back to that. And if I turn the delay on, see, this is what happens. Okay, so for some reason, it's spun out. Now, the off position is on the Axefx. Why? Don't ask me why. I have no idea. Stupid system. And if I turn something on and then go to another sound, the button stays on. Boring. I hate it. I hate those things. Like, there's just something that they should sort out somewhere along the line. However, whatever. Yeah, Leon Todd's got great videos. He's awesome, man. I've subscribed to his Patreon. He's fantastic. Pete, can you tell us about your acoustic patch, please? Yes, the acoustic patch is simple. It's just volume and reverb. I'll show you it. It's all it is. Actually, Dominic Miller used it the other day, and he wanted chorus on the sound, which I never used. So I'll save that. He wanted some chorus, so I saved it for him. He also wanted to EQ it differently, which I did for him. But this also has the looper in it too, if you wanted to get into some looping. But it's just acoustic. What I do to get the level up is, because it's always going to be different impedance, I put the volume up about 4.5 dB, and then I've just got reverb, and it's just a simple medium hall. Of course, I'm playing electric guitar, but that's beside the point right now. I've wanted an Axefx since the Ultra. Thought it's about time. Yeah, well, don't do the Ultra. Don't buy an Ultra. Whatever you do, it's technical. It's 20 years old. The Mission Engineering expression pedals are the ones to go for, are they? And my biggest problem is real estate space, right? So I need to fit everything in, right? You can see I've got another button in the corner up there too, another dial control, which turns on the gain boost of the amplifier. So I need more places to put buttons. And this box that I've always used, which is the Diego, it's the perfect size. I can put my boxes on top of it. It's got huge wheels on it. So that's my rig. I can take it in one go. Guitars on top. Right, so it's all about real estate space. Yes, I mean, if I could have 2 FM12s, I'd be doing it, but it's impractical. So that's why the air steps are the next best thing. Actually, they're shit. Don't get me wrong. They're great, but I hate that they don't do the things that you want them to do. Like, can't you sort that out? That's what I want. If I change a patch, can't you turn that off? Turn the light off? No, I have to go and hit it again. And then if I hit it again in a certain way, it spins out and goes to the opposite parameter. Don't start me. It's a pain. Sam, I got the EV1 for the wah, but unfortunately there is no on-off button. Is there a way to turn the wah on and off just to achieve based on the pedal's range? Yes, there is. Sam, I'm sorry I didn't get to that before. Yes, what you do is, on your wah section, let's go back to my patches. In the wah section, what you do is you grab the wah. Sorry, I'll do it up here. And then you assign the control, which is that, to the pedal that you're connected to. You've got that connected to. And then what you do is you assign it to auto-engage at fast position. So whenever I'm on it, you screw around with these. I just know that fast position is the best way because it's on and it's off. So you can hear it. There's off. There's on. You can hear it flick. Now you might be, let's go for, say, slow position. You might go. You'll hear it take time to change. Right? No, you don't want to do that. You want it fast. So that's how you do the auto engage. Acoustic patch pedal. There's no IRS. No IRs. No IRs. You don't want to use that. I've tried the IRs, the acoustic things. They just cloud the sound. Do you know? There's a couple of things I've used before, like the Martin and the what else? The Takamine IRs. But nah, it just sounds too processed. You know, it's all right for the studio. Don't get me wrong, fine in the studio. But when you're playing, response is different, all that sort of stuff. Real estate's always an issue. Pointy shoes help, absolutely. Freckle need to make smaller controller buttons. I agree with you. It would be so much better. Do you ever change the blend of your amps with the expression pedal? No, I started to when I first got the Axefx and I was trying all that sort of stuff. Nah. I do just have, like, you know, occasionally I'll have 2 amps, but very rarely do I have 2 amps. That's all I wanted to show you. It's pretty cool in the regard that I can do, you know, a whole bunch of things at once. Like, my tuner, just simple. The tuner is that held down, right? So that's my tap tempo. Let's get the delay in. See, backwards. It gets me every time, and it's kind of like a reboot of that machine to get it right. I hate it. No, it's not, as I have to reboot the other machine. But the beauty of this is to tap, so I can get that. Or. And I've got it registering after the second hit. So you can, you know, average it to 3 or 4 hits or whatever you like, you know. And I think I've got that one set at a dotted 8th. I mean, you know, great solo sound is with that amp, which is the Deluxe Tweed, with the BBE in. Or, if I want something a little less destructive, delay off. It's kind of good power chord stuff. Again, it's kind of, for me, it's real estate space. I can't fit those in. I can't fit those pedals because they're too wide, you know. It means getting a whole new board, and I don't want to do that because the board is perfect for lugging and wheeling and stuff, you know. And a simple, like, what do they call them? The pedal board things that put in a bag and you carry over your shoulder. I don't want to go there. I don't want to lift things. I want to put things on top of things and wheel them in, right? This pedal board here has wheels on it that just work perfectly. And they're big wheels, so they go over anything. I'm told the amp sounds are great straight out of the box. They are. They're fantastic. The only thing is that what you've got to do, and this is what I have done, is if I go into setup and go to the EQ, that's my EQ for my atomic speaker box, right? I take all the bottom out and a little bit of that, and I sometimes take more out. The output for this, so I've got, as you can see, I've got 2 outputs here. Well, I've actually got 3. That's mine. That's to the front of house, and that's the spare one. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I haven't assigned that to anything. But this is what output 2 goes to the front of house. Output 1 is what I use for my speaker box, because it has so much bottom end and top end. Look, I've taken the top end out too. there as well. You just don't need all that. It's just buzz. Now, you won't hear much difference if I go... You don't hear anything different. But through a FR, loud, with the frickin' Munson curve, it's horrible. So you've got to get rid of all that stuff. Same with that too. You hardly hear any difference, right? But through the Fletcher Munson, go and check it out. If you don't understand the Fletcher Munson curve, you better, because this whole thing is different. You got to remember, what you're doing is you're putting amplifiers and speaker boxes that have been modeled and mic'd up, right? So you're miking a cabinet, and then you're putting that cabinet through another cabinet live, right? So you've got to get rid of stuff. It will never, ever, any of these sounds, the stock sounds, and you plug them through an FR and play loud at a gig, everybody says, it's horrible, I've lost all my tone, it's all... You've got to understand the Fletcher Munson curve. You've got to understand what's useless to you, which is the bottom end and the top end, okay? So everything changes as soon as it gets louder, and that's what you hear. So you've got to flatten it out all the time. Could you fit an FC6, remove the S? No, it won't fit. It won't fit. I've got the 6. You can see it up there, just there. It just won't fit. I mean, it'd be a separate thing I'd have to carry along, and it's not really what I want to do. I want to find the solution to it, so it's all one. The whole thing is about compact, right? I now roll into a gig with one load, and that's it. I want to keep going on that. The thing is, the problem for me is I'm not a player that sets out, this is what this song is, that's what that song is. I'm improvising all the time. I'm going, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? My brain works that way. It doesn't go, I'm going to play on this sound and play on this sound for that song. It's just not who I am. You know, I've got certain sounds, like you heard before, like, the Money for Nothing. Yes, I play that sound. That's in a different section. I can get to that. But as far as my brains, you got to remember that as a musician, I'm creating all the time, and I'm editing in my brain. Ooh, what about the tremolo? Let's put the tremolo. Can we wet it up? Let's go for a spaghetti western sound. You know, I can't just go, I'll go to this, I'll tap another button, get into that mode, and then I'll tap the spaghetti western button. No, that's three hits to get to a sound. I don't want to do that. I want to be on it, creating all the time. Pretty short in space, absolutely. I'm planning to run mine through the QSC. They're fine. They're fine. I've got the QSC K10, I think it is. Yeah, the K10. They're okay, Paul. I've tried using them live when I first got into the Axefx, and it was fine. But when you get the even the Atomic is not great, but it's okay. And so you'll find some different frequencies. The K12, it's okay. It's good. Have you tried those red sound FRRs? No. And he was going to send them to me, but we never got around to it. So I need to try them. But they're tiny. They're small, and I don't think they've got enough volume. Until I see it, I don't know. DSP on the QSC might be an answer. Yeah, you can do all that. But then, you know, the problem is you're continually fucking with things, right? You don't want to do that. I want to keep this as simple as possible. I mean, as far as, you know, the EQ and all that sort of stuff. You can keep going on that, and you can EQ to death. But the amps are meant to sound like the way they are, except you've got to pull the bottom end out if you're playing loud. See, in the studio, I have none of that EQ, none of this. It's flat. Everything's flat. The amplifiers sound like the amplifiers are supposed to sound. Fletcher Munson comes into it, bang, ruins everything. So, a variety of patches you call up when they feel they're appropriate for the song. Yeah, I've got a couple of those, but the patches that I have are literally clean, chorus, chunky, dirty, solo, and then everything in between. Okay, so there are my presets up there, and everything in between. For example, in that chunky sound, I can go. Let's put the tremolo on. Let's put the reverb on. Let's put the delay on. Let's change the tempo. Give me more reverb. Let's take the reverb down. Let's get dirty. All on the fly, not one sound, you know. So within every one of those patches, I can do that. I can put the chorus. Stretching to try and get things here, but you know. Again, it's all about, you know, being on the fly, and it's creating in the moment. There are limitations, but you know, my brain works like that. It's like having pedals, right? But you know, the other beauty about this is, for example, I've got 4 delays that I can play with, and they're all switchable. As a matter of fact, I've got 8, so you can set those all up and have them switched via the pedal board. And you know, amplifiers. I've got 4 amplifiers that I can screw. Actually, I've got 8 amplifiers within each patch. Within each patch, I've got 4 amplifiers to play with. Now, how many patches? There's millions. Okay, so I can switch between those within each, you know, if I was in that chunky sound like I've just been playing, and I go, I want to try another amp, bang. I can change this on the fly. Let's try a different cab block. Let's assign, you know, the level of the cab block to, let's change but, you know, let's get the room up. Let's get the tremolo off. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. You can see where I've got it set is about there. So, you know, the thing is trying to make it sound like a real amp, and that's the issue, and you can get lost in it forever. But the variety, I mean, it's just so much variety for me and choices, and that's what I've always wanted. Being, you know, in the studio and being a session player, all I've wanted is, I want a Vox amp, I want a Marshall amp, I want a good Fender amp, and I want a, you know, a boutique amp or whatever. This gives it to me. Yes, you're limited in so many ways, but, you know, even if I wasn't using the amplifiers and the cabs in this, I'd be using all the effects. It's just the effects are beyond, my friends. Like, look at the effects. What do you want? You know, and within each one, within each one, there's the amount of delays that you've got. Let's have a look at the reverbs. There's how many reverbs you've got. And these are all switchable. Let's have a look at the compressors. Let's see how many compressors you've got. All different types. The drives, let's have a look at the drives. That's the most. Look at them all. Everything. Anything you want. All modelled decently. Oh, the clons. I played a real clon the other day. Yeah. So what? So what? It's okay. It's just not as, it's a bit like the difference between analog and digital. Oh, yeah, I think I can hear it. The world is ridiculous. Life is ridiculous. I am ridiculous. You are ridiculous. We're all ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, I just wanted to say the wah, it's got a spring in it. So it's that. It does have a button. Oh, this one does. That does have a button switch you can turn things on off too, but I don't use it. Be kind to yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow night. Tandy, you're running into the tarmac now or straight into the board? Straight into the board. Just direct in. No, that's direct. Good on you, Dreamweb. Thank you. Great session, very informative. Thank you, Bruno. I will cut it up and make it sensible. And we can talk more about the bits and pieces as we go. Happy to share and teach as much as I know on the machine because it's a wonderful machine. It is just the best. All right. Be kind to yourselves. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow night with a real gig. All right. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Be good to yourselves. Talk soon. Bye.